Hello, welcome back to the channel. TGN is in the house modding for us. We're talking about super casually Phyrexia All Will Be One, releasing in what, 2 days? 3 days? Attended the pre-release last night and I was actually really pumped to be able to play the set, figure some things out. TGN, how are the levels? Levels good? Let me just kind of look through some cards here. Hopefully people have some questions. Hopefully some questions will come up that I will also be able to ask people about their pre-release experience and get a head start on this new set. '33 plus, what's going on? Love the channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We're just talking Phyrexia. All will be one. Just chilling. Having a good Saturday night. Did the pre-release last night. I was doing Orzhov. So I was black and white, toxic. Felt pretty good. Felt pretty strong. I liked being able to. One of the things that struck me is being able to do the toxic build around thing, but then also be doing damage at the same time. So you can flip back and forth between winning with a toxic victory, but also you're like, hey, I'm actually doing some damage here, and their life is down to like 9. So maybe I can just win straight up by doing damage. That was pretty cool. Ended up winning 7 packs, which was cool. Got some good pulls out of that. You guys have to let me know if my volume is low. 33 plus. How often do you plan on doing historic or even standard brawl content? That's a super good question. So I haven't done any historic brawl on the channel as of yet. Mostly a standard player, but I did do, if you saw a couple of videos, where I did some standard brawl with Kaito and then one with can't forget what else I did. But I would say standard brawl is definitely on the table for the future. I had a really fun time playing brawl. And recently, probably within the past year, I've gotten into playing commander, so that kind of like bled over into brawl. So I think brawl will be something that we'll be doing on the channel on a more frequent basis. I don't know about historic brawl, because I have to kind of learn the format there and get into that before I'm really comfortable with like playing a deck and being like, this is a good historic brawl deck, when I don't know what I'm talking about. But standard brawl for sure. Zeus Alternative, what's going on? It's been a long time since I talked to you. Ossification seems insane for a non-rare. So I was lucky. Last night, where is Ossification? Yeah, last night I had 2 or 3 ossifications, and it was insane. Enchanted one of my planes. I think at one point I took out a Eternal Wanderer that my opponent had, and then I took out like a big green, like that 3-drop 4/4 toxic 3 thing. So ossification performed really well for me. I also had the planar disruption, which it's 2 over from ossification, which is just like a beefed up pacifism. But the fact that it can hit a planeswalker, and there's so many planeswalkers in this set, there's 10 and 5 at rare. So if you're playing limited, they come up like at the pre-release last night, everybody seemed to have a planeswalker. Somebody played Koth on me, which I was like actually kind of happy to have been proven right about Koth, because it like just killed one of my things and then didn't do much. I was like, okay. But somebody played the Wanderer on me, and somebody played something else. But Planar Disruption's good too. But yeah, Ossification was really good. Speaking of that, I should look at like some of the overperformers that I had in the deck. I was white. Okay, so Jawbone Duelist performed pretty well too. The 2-drop 1/1 double strike toxic 1. There was one game where I played Jawbone Duelist and the opponent did not have a turn 2 play, and I went first, so I was able to just bam bam hit 2 poison counters right away. And then the next turn I was able to play, this thing was sweet. I made a post about it on the channel. The Flensing Raptor right here. next to the Wanderer. 3-drop 2/2 flying with Toxic 1, and then it made the other one flying, so it was able to get in for that double strike again. So it was like 4 poison counters on turn 3. 33 plus. Friend just got into Magic recently. How would you explain a basic deck building theory to a new player? Or how would you help a new player in the deck building process? That's an awesome question. Basic deck building theory. So like if your friend is a new player, the thing that I usually do whenever I'm introducing Magic to people that are new players is I go and I just get like the cheapest possible double pack of pre-constructed decks. So like I think I got 2 decks. They're like super low power level, right? But they're like kind of designed to be the same. And then I usually play them. And TGN and I were just talking about this the other day. The complexity of Magic the Gathering has gotten so complex over the last few years that it's sort of weird for people that want to start playing, because it's just so there's so much to learn. Like somebody who started playing on Phyrexia all will be one, you'd be like, here's Toxic and here's for Mirrodin where it makes a token. And like, well, what's a token? But I would just say basically get a precon, break it down, be like, here's all the lands in the precon, here's the number of creatures, all that, break down all the card types. And if you're building a deck for them, I would just say keep it as basic as possible so they can learn those ground rules. Like, just give like 2/2, 3/3 vanilla creatures or creatures with first strike and flying and all that before you get into like, this is this is an enchantment creature that taps to exile this thing and this combo and whatever. But yeah, that's what I usually do. 33 plus is I have 2 stock pre-con decks that I'll play and like just go through the whole process. But it takes a long time, so I totally get what you're saying, where it's difficult to know where to put your foot in there. Zeus, the 2 mana when a target of a spell opponent gets a poison counter. Seems that'll be standard deck, maybe Ivy. Oh yeah, I think it's 1 mana, isn't it? Let's look. Phyrexian something or other. A little nasty green 1-drop. Doot. White, blue, black. We don't need you. Yeah. This thing is insane. So when I was doing the spoiler videos, people commented on the channel because they were like, I like how you just didn't comment on it at all. But it was like the first day that the spoilers had come out. And they're like, you really just gonna breeze past this creature? Because it's like I just said its name. Where the hell is it? Rustvine Cultivator. That's not it. Should know the name. There it is. Boom! Venerated Rot Priest. By the way, can't stop thinking in what incarnation is Battle of Phyrexia. Yeah, for sure. Stokes, what's going on, man? Yeah, Venerated Rot Priest. 1 green mana. 1/2. First of all, not even a 1/1. So it can block 1/1 tokens. Toxic 1, when a creature you control becomes the target of a spell, target opponent gets a poison counter. That's what you're talking about, my man. And it's crazy because if they try to remove one of your creatures, it's not even just that creature, it's any creature you control. Try to remove one of your creatures, get a poison counter. And then you protect one of your creatures, they get a poison counter. Just insane stuff. Zeus, I know what you're talking about, Battle with Phyrexia. I don't know what that could be either. I'm thinking maybe it'd be like a little mini side game or something, where maybe you start a battle and then you have like certain goals that you have to accomplish or something on the side. Like I'm thinking something maybe like a dungeon. Yeah, Zeus, it's 1 mana. It's crazy. Have that done on turn 1, just like, okay. Toxic 1 too. I mean, even if it just gets combat damage, like they play a tap land and you just go in and you get in for that thing on turn 2, maybe turn 3 even, and then if they try to remove it, even if it dies, it's like, well, there's 3 toxic counters right there, just off your 1 mana investment. Stokes, Rot Priest, do you think it'll be a nightmare in best of 1? Seen a lot of people saying it's just a meme, but I don't know about that. I don't think it's just a meme. I think it's a pretty strong creature. it's when I think of meme things, I think of more like over the top deals where it's like card would be a meme where if it costs like 5 mana, and then it's like if you control two artifacts and enchantment and something else, then you win the game. And it's like, well, that's never gonna happen. That's what I think about when I think about meme stuff. But like 1 mana, it's really cheap. If you're on the toxic game plan, if they interact with it at all, they get poison, and it's just like, no, I think it's a good one. It's a good 1 drop. And like, how much power can you expect out of a 1 drop? What is more powerful than the Rot Priest, right? Because we've seen in mono white, we saw 2-1 for a while in the meta. In best of one, it was that Fox Pilot from Neon Dynasty. It was just a 2-1. It didn't even do anything for the deck. This is a 1-2, so it's not as aggressive. But at the same time, if you think of Toxic 1 giving 1 poison counter, and you only need 10 poison counters to win the game, then that really is, you only need to hit in 10 times. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's a meme. I think it's a good card. Um, yeah, there's so much power in this set, I think. This is one of the weird ones right here. Tyrannex Rex. I did a YouTube short on this the other day because I was looking at it, and when you're looking at these huge creatures, there's a tendency to say Stokes, Simic, Rot Priest, Tempo, yeah. March of Burgeoning Life, yeah, it could. I was thinking also March of Swirling Mist, right? So like you have that and a few other creatures out, and then you swing in with everything, or you swing in with what you can, get them up to like 5 or 6 toxic or poison counters, and then whenever they tap out at the end of their turn, you just March of Swirling Mist, and then tap like 4 of your things out and target all of your stuff just to finish them off. Thinking that would be really good. But Tyrannex Rex is crazy because like when you look at this one of these big cards, you think that seems like more of a meme card to me. Is the massive cards that cost like 8, 9, 10 mana? It's like, when are you going to be able to cast it? But this thing looks pretty crazy for the same investment that you get off Titan of Industry. I don't know which one I'd rather have. So 3 green, 4 generic for the same casting cost as Titan of Industry, but it's an 8/8, can't be countered, which I don't think Titan can either. But the fact that it has Trample, Ward 4, Haste, and Toxic 4, like, it's gonna be super hard to cast. But I don't know. It's a big monster. It's a big nasty. Zeus, you saw Rot Priest with Green March. Target a creature with mana value X. Summon one of the same name from the deck. March of Burgeoning Life. You know what? Let's look that up, my friend. Because that seems pretty good. Open a new tab here. See. March of Burgeoning. 33 plus. I hope that answered your question. And Thorn, I will answer that in just a moment. March of Burgeoning Life. 1 green X. Additional cost, you may exile the number of green cards from your hand, like all the other ones. Choose target creature with mana value less than X. Search your library for a creature card with the same name as that creature put on the battlefield. So typically you would do Rot Priest turn 1. This, if you did this on turn 2, it would target it. That would be a poison counter. And then you would go grab another one, put it on the battlefield, and you'd have 2. That is pretty good. Yeah, that seems pretty good, Stokes. Thorn, what sets do you think will synergize with this new set? Like, if you went to a game shop and said, give me some boosters of All Will Be One and one other set, what do I think would be fun to mix? If you want to choose Violence, probably some set with Infect in it, like some of the old Mirrodin sets, but I guess it really depends on what format you're trying to play. But I think anything with a lot of Proliferate in it, anything that, what would really bust this set? So they have said, Wizards of the Coast said that they did not include +1/+1 counters in this set because Proliferate is around. Because Proliferate is so nasty with +1/+1 counters and -1/-1 counters that it just enables aggro to go insane. That's why if you look at any of the Phyrexia all will be 1 cards, there are no cards that grant +1/+1 counters or -1/-1 counters. And they did that on purpose. So I would say any set that has the most +1/+1 or -1/-1 counters would make your decks absolutely broken. And so I guess if you're a commander player and you have access to a ton of sets, +1 counters and -1 counters would be really nasty. Like in let's see, going back here, 2008, something like that. Lorwyn block, they introduced spells and creatures with wither. So whenever they did damage, they did it in the form of -1/-1 counters, and that would be insane with some of these proliferate cards. That would probably be my guess, Thorn. Zeus, Rot Priest is a 1-drop, so Green March costs 2 and doubles the poison. Yeah. What do I think about the white enchantment that makes 1/1 might? Skrelv's something or other, right? Find that one. That's like the white bitter blossom, but like not as good. Skrelv's Hive. There it is. On the right. 1 white, 1 generic for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, lose 1 life, create a 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature token with toxic 1. This creature can't block. And corrupted as long as the opponent has 3 or more poison counters. Creatures you control toxic have lifelink. I think in the green white toxic go wide mechanic in limited, that's pretty insane. I like the design on Skrelv's Hive because I don't know. Bitter Blossom is like the obvious comparison to this, right? So let's look at Bitter Blossom. This is originally from Lorwyn, Shadowmoor, something like that. And this is a 1 black, 1 generic. At the beginning of your upkeep, lose a life, create a 1/1 black fairy rogue creature token with flying. And when this was in standard, whenever I was playing, I went to Grand Prix Chicago, and I was playing elves at that time because I was just like not aware of board wipes exist. But this was dominating because this is just insane value for 2. So like I think they printed something like it, but they didn't want to make it so insane. So we have Skrelv's Hive. I think it will be good in the right deck. Token deck, something along the lines of play this on turn 2, start creating 1/1 colorless mites, and then maybe Wedding Announcement on turn 3. Attack with some mites, draw some cards off of that, and then eventually those mites become 2/2s and 3/3s. I think any Anthem effects that you have that buff all your creatures are going to be really effective with this. The one thing is, I'm glad they did this, is that they can't block. So if these things could block, I would think this would be an insanely good control card. Imagine having a control deck, playing a Skrelv's Hive and making a 1/1 chump blocker every turn, and then the next turn playing Wedding Announcement and making a 1/1 human chump blocker every turn, and then just kind of stacking them up and blocking aggro decks and going from there. But the fact that they have to be aggressive, I think, is a good design. I think it's going to be really good. Stokes Mondrock, yeah, for sure. So yeah, that would be a pretty insane curve out, Stokes. All right, so turn 2, Skrelv's Hive. Turn 3, you lose a life, make a might at the bare minimum. Turn 3, Wedding Announcement, make yourself a 1/1 human. And then turn 4, Mondrock. Where is Mondrock? You guys haven't seen Mondrock. He's disgusting. Whenever Mondrock was spoiled, I posted a tweet and I was like, I'm into it. The more I look at it, the more I love it. So every color has a Dominus. This happens to be the white Dominus. This is double white, 2 generic for 4/4 legendary Phyrexian horror. If 1 or more tokens will be created, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. And then you can make it indestructible by sacrificing 2 other artifacts or creatures and 2 Phyrexian mana and 1 generic. Yeah, and it's a 4/4, 4-drop. And then your Skrelv's Hive starts making 2 at a time. And then your Wedding Announcement starts making 2 at a time. And then you have Blood to Spare. If somebody targets Mondrock, you just make it indestructible. Exile's going to be huge for all these things, these Dominus in the set. We're going to have a lot of exile removal, and white, I think, is going to be really good at that. Zeus, turn 2, Hive turn 3, Broker's Ascendancy. Yeah, that'd be good. Plus counters on everything. And then uh Zeus proliferate. Proliferate all those counters. Elden Mike, what's up, man? You pulled Mondrock out of a bundle today, you lucky dog. It's like an anointed procession, but better. Yeah, what is anointed procession? Is that the one that makes the spirits? Right? Oh no, that's a different one. 4. If an effect would create one or more tokens under your control, creates twice that many. Yeah, so Elden Mike, you're absolutely right. So this is a little bit harder to cast because it's double white, 2 generic instead of 1 white, 3 generic, but this is Anointed Procession. What is that? Amonkhet? Yeah. And it has a 4/4 body that can be indestructible. Just crazy. So I've seen, I posted that community post where I saw that people were saying there were some people that were saying this set is really overpowered, and then there were some people that saying like they don't see the power. I think it's very overpowered. I think it's going to add a lot to standard, and I think a lot of things are going to change in standard. Yeah. Elden Mike, that's awesome, dude. Stokes, you're definitely going to build that. I think I'm going to build that too. Just mono white tokens. And white also has some of the best removal in the set too. And if you build mono white, then you can use the Brothers War 1 mana exile thing for the amount of planes that you have. So I think mono white is not going to be just aggro anymore. I think we're going to see some mid range too and some token build stuff. Look at all the Elish Norns. Look at that. Elish Norn regular. Elish Norn this one. Elish Norn this one. Phyrexian one. Then the anime art one. And this one. There's so many. Oh, then Mike, it's a fun set. Did a sealed yesterday. Going to draft next weekend when it comes out officially. So what were your thoughts on sealed? Because I did sealed too. And I did Orzhov Toxic. And I didn't have a lot of corrupted payoffs. But it was fun. I liked it a lot. It seemed pretty aggressive to me, the limited format. But I'm not like a huge limited player, so I can't really speak a ton about what's going to be amazing in limited. I like other channels for that, like Limited Resources with LSV and Marshall Sutcliffe, one of my go-tos. Nikolai Bolas is also really good. A few other channels out there for limited. But I really, really enjoyed the sealed. It was a lot of fun. This one right here, I talked about this one in a video too. This Kemba seems like it's going to be making some waves in modern. Thomason, what's up? How's it going? Hope you're having a good Saturday. This Kemba Ka Enduring. 1 white mana, 1 generic for a 2/2 cat, and then you get to equip an equipment to it. So I was doing some research about modern, and Colossus Hammer is already a really big archetype in modern. So this is going to be a disgusting combo. Turn 2 Kemba, you have your turn 1 Colossus Hammer, artifact equipment +10/+10 and loses flying. That goes on the cat, and all of a sudden you have a 13/13 cat on turn 2. Seems like a meme, but apparently it is not a meme in modern. Thomason, good pre-release pulls. You got to showcase Mondrock and Obliterator. So you and Elden Mike both got Mondrock. You guys took all the Mondrocks. That's awesome. And an Obliterator. Obliterator is an iconic card. So which one's the showcase, Thomason? Is it... Because there's so many... Is it this one right here? Or is it this one? The darker, this darker one, the second one, or these other ones? Because I'm still trying to figure out which arts. What arts are what? I'll show you guys some of the cards that I got from the packs that I won. You can see them. I don't know if the camera will show them. We got... Let's see here. Mm-hmm. That it? You see it? I'm waiting for it to catch up here. Tyvar. Jubilant Brawler, which is my favorite art in the set. Yeah, you can see. The elf with the temperament of a dwarf who likes to punch Phyrexians and also punches his allies back from the graveyard. We got a bloated contaminator, which is a pretty nasty toxic green card. Somebody played this on me yesterday and I was like, yeah, that's gross. Bloated contaminator. Stokes, wonder if the oil slick raised foil lands will be in Arena. Wouldn't look as cool digitally, but I don't think they'd miss an opportunity to make money off of it. Yeah, I don't think they will either. I think they'll probably offer it. Probably do some, like, digital manipulation to it, or at least maybe just the art. But the oil slick things are really cool. Thomason, you got Kaya and Jace so far for Planeswalkers. Were you able to play with Kaya and Jace? Because Kaya looks pretty nasty. Hexproof, plus to gain 3 life and lose 3 life, and then make enchantments into tokens. Let's see. Kaya Intangible Slayer, there she is. Hell of a casting cost on Kaya. Really specific. But if you can get Kaya out, I'm sure it's going to be disgusting. Invoke Justice Kaya Stokes? Yeah, that's what's up. Invoke Justice. We have the lands to support Invoke Justice in dual colored decks right now. Hey Clayton, what's up? Hope you're having a good weekend. Elden Mike Tyvar is going to be so fun. So like, here's my thing with Tyvar. I was thinking about it when I was doing a card review video. And so let's look at him real quick, because this is going to be gross. Because we don't have Jund as like a major archetype in Standard right now. But, so think about Blood Tithe Harvester, which we all pretty much know Blood Tithe Harvester if we've been playing Standard for a while. So the red and black, 3/2 when it comes in, make a blood token, tap it to sacrifice it, target creature gets -X until in a turn where X is twice the number of blood tokens you control. So it comes in, makes a blood token, you can sacrifice it, gives something -2/2 the next turn if you don't have any blood tokens. So I was thinking about playing this on turn 2, right? Pass the turn, they do their thing, come back. We have a green mana, we play Tyvar, comes in, sacrifice the Blood Tithe Harvester, kill their 2-drop, and then we go -2 on Tyvar, mill, return it back to the battlefield. So we got a Blood Tithe Harvester, comes back in, makes another blood token. So you have 2 blood tokens, and since we know we can activate abilities of creatures you control as though those creatures had haste, we can sack it immediately to kill another thing, -4/-4 on turn 3. So turn 2 Blood Tithe Harvester, turn 3 Tyvar Jubilant Brawler means that you get to kill their 2 and 3 drop immediately. I think that's going to be really gross. Now, you have to have exactly 1 black mana, 1 red mana, and 1 green mana on turn 3, but that's the ceiling of it. The floor is, just fine too. And Tyvar is also going to be cool with mana dorks. Playing like a Llanowar Elves-esque creature, not in Standard, but dropping that and then just immediately being able to tap it for mana. Seems good to me. I like Tyvar a lot. Also got the Eternal Wanderer, which I was able to play in my deck, which was really cool. Just the Eternal Wanderer being able to just come down on turn 6 and then make a 2/2 double strike token every turn is just crazy. I think that card's going to be really good, and it's very cheap right now. Elden Mike, excited to see if I can go mana positive with some combo and EDH with him. I bet you could. Elden Mike, what comes to mind is a lot of people are talking about I think it was in Modern, if I'm not mistaken, Devoted Druid. Some sort of shenanigans with Devoted Druid, because Devoted Druid comes in, makes a mana immediately. Then you can untap it by putting a -1/-1 counter on it, and then tap it again. So Elden Mike, that might be a good place to start if you want to go mana positive with Tyvar. Stokes, speaking of Kaya, repair and recharge would be better to bring her back. Only 2 white pips instead of 4. Repair and recharge, is that Brothers War? Brothers War, uncommon, 2 white pips. Double white, 3 generic sorcery. Return artifact enchantment or planeswalker from your graveyard to the battlefield. Create a tap power stone token. I wonder though, because we look at Invoke Justice. I think you're right in that the casting cost will be easier in Orzhov, but it would be nice to do Invoke Justice, Planeswalker back in, and then +1/+1 counter, 4 +1/+1 counters on creatures if you have creatures. I think they're both viable, Stokes. I think maybe you could start the deck and build it with Invoke Justice, and then if you're not able to get there, like if you just don't have all the white mana that you need, maybe then that's a good alternative to do repair and recharge. Because the thing about Kaya is that she takes double white, double black, which is really restrictive. But like Stokes is on some hot tech right now. Clayton, I didn't play pre-release, but opened up a pre-kit and pulled 2 Swords of Fortune Frontier and Tyrannus Rex. Nice. So Clayton, the thing about I was just talking about Tyrannus Rex, and the thing about that card is that card gets me right in the feels, like where I want to be. Because so many times I'm looking at cards and I'm like, people call them pet cards, where I'm like, I want that card to be good. I like the art, I like the flavor, I like the card itself, and it just doesn't end up being good. But in the case of Tyrannus Rex, I want it to be good. I think it probably will be decent to good, and even if it's not, I don't care, because I'm going to start building certain decks just to have fun, even if they are jankier. So play Tyrannus Rex and get an 8/8 Toxic 4 Trample Haste Ward 4 can't be countered, and I'm going to smash somebody with that thing. That's for sure. I'm going to do it. I don't even care if I have to lose a few games to do it. You got a Sword of Fortune Frontier. Let's talk about that card. That's a really good one to talk about, Clayton, because it's dividing people right now. So it's the last. No, I think out of the Mirrodin swords, we still need the Dimir one. So we still need the black and blue one. That's the only one that we don't have. So Sword of Fortune Frontier, 3 generic mana for an equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 as protection from red and green. And when equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. You may play an additional land this turn. I like this card, but I just don't think, if we're talking about standard only, the new standard in Arena that's going to be in the next couple days, I'm not sure that's going to do much. Because the 3-drop slot is really important. So if you're dropping an equipment on turn 3, it better be like really nasty. The last equipment that I remember being really good in standard was Maul of the Skyclaves. And that's because it equipped immediately and it gave evasion that was just incredible. And that rotated out, but that was the last equipment that I can remember being really good. And I'm not sure if protection from green and red right now matters. It could in the new meta. So like, this is one of those cards that could pop off, but I just don't know. I wish it was like equip 1. I wish you could do it turn 3, and then on turn 4, you play your next land, you have 4 mana, and then you could play another 3-drop and then equip the sword to some other creature. It's the 2 equip, 5 mana total. I just don't think it's really fast enough. Putin, what's up, man? It's going well. Am I excited for the new set? I'm really excited for the new set, man. I had a blast at pre-release last night doing sealed. You excited about it? Zem1X, new player, MTG Arena, the event with pre-constructed historic brawl decks. Do you get to pick the deck each entry? Completely outmatched event. I haven't done that event, but I'm going to probably say there's a really good chance that you do get to pick the deck. I can't say for certain because I haven't done the event. I've been super busy making the Phyrexia content, so I haven't done it, but probably so. I would think so. I wouldn't think it would give you like a random deck. Stokes, red and green decks will fear Phyrexia and Obliterate. That's true. That's very true. I could see Phyrexia and Obliterator being a sideboard against mono red and green decks, because the only reason that I think Phyrexia and Obliterator won't be a main deck usually in mono black and standard right now is Sheoldred, because you just basically want 4 Sheoldreds, and I don't think you have much room. And then you probably want like a Sorin. But Phyrexia and Obliterator is disgusting. In the best way. Putin, yeah, for sure. I've been playing a lot of Brawl and Explorer because I'm burned out of standard, so looking forward to shake it up. I hear you, brother. I hear you on that. So I was playing earlier today. I tried to jump on and make a video. And I was like, I want to play something that's not tier 1 right now. So I went back to Werewolves. So I was playing Gruul Werewolves, and I was like, I went into it knowing, I was just like, Werewolves haven't been good in a while. But I tried, and I was like, okay. And I think I won. I played like 8 or 9 games, and I won like 50%, but I was like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, but I hear you. I hear you, Putin. I am ready to shake things up, make some new content, get some new videos out there, do some toxic stuff, do some proliferate stuff. All of that. I'm ready. TGN is still in here, the mod. My mod and really, really good friend TGN. He's still in here. I just want to thank him for keeping everything smooth as butter and keeping all the spam out, so we can have some clean discussion tonight and some good messages. Keep the spammers at bay. Morgan, what do I think about the chase card? Elish Norn being a commander card that is not really that great in standard. So I listen, I trashed Elish Norn a little bit when it was first revealed, but so when it first came out, it's hard to, I don't know. I don't want to trash it too much. I think it is a super good commander card, probably. I don't play commander all that much, but I know enough to know that commander games go longer and that this is going to be pretty good in commander. The thing that I disliked about Elish Norn was that basically all the permanents that you want to double trigger usually come before turn 5. So if you're talking about Fable the Mirror Breaker getting 2 goblins and then, you know, having double triggers there, talking about Wedding Announcement, double triggering, Leyline Bindings, things like that, they all kind of come before the curve that Elish Norn. So like by the time you get Norn out, you're like, well, what do I have left to double trigger? That being said, I think it's still a good card. I didn't want to trash it too hard, but I think it'll be insane for Commander probably. MTG Hillbilly, what's up? Hillbilly, did you get pre-release? Did you get early access? Do I remember you saying that you got early access? That's incredible if so. I love it, dude. Putin, toxic seems like it could be super annoying. I agree. I so agree. That's true, Zeus. Actually, you know what is the thing that I do tend to miss here too is it makes the other permanents that people play not trigger too. So if you're facing like an enchantment based removal deck, like they are going to be hurting pretty bad. Billy, congrats. That's awesome, dude. I love it. You love to see it. Did you have fun? Stokes, I have this combo I want to try. Man, what's up, man? Are we fighting the Phyrexian or joining them? I don't know. We'll have to discuss in a second. Long time no see. Stokes, I have this combo I want to try. Solfim turn 4. All right, let's look at this combo. Let's get some Stokes tech up in here. Solfim, which is Mayhem Dominus. No, Stokes was a big fan of Solfim. Elish 5, double kicked Archangel on 6. Archangel of Wrath. Okay, so we got Solfim out, double red, 2 generic 5/4. Creature sorcery control deal non-combat damage. It deals double that damage instead. And then he has the discard 2 cards, indestructible, sets a turn 4. Turn 5 into Elish Norn, a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of permanent you control the trigger. That ability triggers additional time. Archangel of Wrath when it enters the battlefield. Stokes, that's a greedy combo. That's the greediest combo I've ever seen. But it's amazing too. Because you really only need double red, double white, and then you need a swamp as well to double kick this. That would be insane, Stokes. Hillbilly did an 11-hour stream. Dude, that's awesome. I would be, if I did an 11-hour stream, I would just be like this. At the end, I'd be like, Phyrexia is good. I'm going to attack with the toxic stuff and get some counters and win. Hillbilly, the red planeswalker is good with that. Good with Solfim. Talking about Karn. Or not Karn. Koth. Zeus, since Archangel triggers twice, Elish Norn doubles each trigger, so 4 times 4 damage with lifelink. That's gross. So Stokes, if I happen to be playing you and you do that to me, I'm just probably going to just be like, cool, and I'm gonna shut Arena down, and then I'm gonna go think about it. Think about my life for a little bit. That's a pretty gross combo, dude. Solfim, Elish Norn, turn 5, and then Archangel turn 6, and it curves right into it too. That's 4, 5, 6 for the kicker. Stokes, that's a nasty combo. Man, are we fighting the Phyrexias or joining them? What are you doing? I think if I know you, my friend, you will be fighting the Phyrexian because the multiverse needs a hero, right? Every villain story needs a hero. Good to talk to you again. It's been a long time, man. Hillbilly, yeah, you felt it later? Yeah. Stokes is evil. That's an evil thing to do to somebody. It would be nasty. It's going to take a while to pull that off. So much removal. Yeah. But we can dream, right? That's what's cool about looking at the new cards is finding the ceiling on things. Right? Because that's what's fun. Is you look at the cards and you're like, this would be gross. If I could double this trigger and then go into this trigger and this and proliferate this. And that's what we love about Magic. Yes. All right. Well, so far, sickest, nastiest, worst thing to do to somebody goes to Stokes. Stokes, you can't do that to somebody in a casual game, dude. If you go play If you go play country, you can't do that to him. Sure, he'll tell me. He'll be like, Stokes did this shit to me tonight. Zeus. Elish Norn plus Gala Greeters or Devilish Valet. That's another good one. But the thing is, Gala Greeters is a 2-drop. So I was thinking, in my criticism, I was thinking like you'd play Gala Greeters on turn 2, and then Norn doesn't come till turn 5. But it would be pretty gross to play it to make a creature or make like a couple creatures and then be able to take 2 tap treasure tokens, gain 4 life, put some counters on stuff. Putin, your memes don't have to be just dreams. Have to just be dreams, Stokes. You have to believe in the heart of the cards. That's true. Stokes, you'll have to, if you can record your screen, you have to record that if that happens. Hillbilly's asking Stokes not to do that to him also. He's like, no. Hillbilly and Stokes will be playing on stream, and Stokes will go, Dominus of Mayhem, your turn. Elish Norn, your turn, and then Hillbilly will just be like, no. Concede. No. Can't do it. Yeah, what else? What else kind of nastiness we got here? Vindicator. All right, let's talk about Vindicator for a second. Phyrexia and Vindicator. Listen, I infamously said on a YouTube short when I first saw this card, I was like, this is going to warp formats, and it's going to be really nasty. I backed off of it a little bit. It is 4 white, a 5/5 flying, and if it takes damage, it can be really disgusting. But I still think it's a really good card. And since we know that white is very, very powerful in the new set, I don't think the 4 white is that much of a downside. I really don't. I think it's a very good card. Putin, do I have any cards I want to check out from 1? Not. I mean, I've done a bunch of videos, so I'm like pretty familiar with the set. But I think what I want to do, first of all, what I want to do is it's not super unique, but I want to do some, since we have so many new planeswalkers, I want to just get some proliferate action and do some just stupidity with having a bunch of planeswalkers, since we have good ones from turn 3 to turn 6, and then have some proliferate, especially with Vraska on the field. I think it would be a lot of fun. Something probably with Esper planeswalkers. Standouts that I'm excited about. Well, I'm excited about Skrelv a lot in mono white, actually. 1 white, toxic 1, can't block, but then he can make, for Phyrexian mana, any other target creature you control gain toxic and hexproof and then can't be blocked. Just seems like a very, very powerful 1-drop. I'm excited about a lot. I got to play with the Eternal Wanderer last night, and the Wanderer was like, strikes me as a very good card in mid-range to control builds. White Sun's Twilight too. I did a YouTube short on that one, because if you cast it for 7, you just wipe the entire board and make 5 1/1 toxic mites and gain 5 life. Like, that's a board wipe and a win con basically too. If they're out of cards, you just have these mites and you're like, okay, I just attack you full bore twice and deal 10 poison tokens right out of the gate. Putin, that's a very good question, man. I'm trying to think. I know there's some janky stuff that I want to try, but it's in terms of, yeah, Jace would be cool to make some mill action with, but it's interesting. I was looking at Jace and I was looking at the other artifact that mills, and I'm like, oh, is there a mill theme in this set? But it's not. There's literally only 2 cards in the set that are concerned about mill, and that's Jace and the artifact thing, the well. Hillbilly Poison was awful. I mean, awful good. That's your that's the takeaway from early access. That's good to know, man. Because poison seems to be everywhere. And it seems to me, I don't know if you'll agree with this. I don't know what kind of decks that you saw in early access, but it seems to me that there are tons of different ways to build it. So, like, if you want to do some, especially in limited, like if you do corrupted stuff or big poison, small poison, wide poison, tall poison. Yeah, Fauna Progress. Man, oh man, Simic Poison looks nasty. We were talking about that earlier. Can't remember who brought it up, but the one drop green Venerated Rat Priest. Yeah, it does look. It looks gross. Zeus Ickermoon Gauntlet. Yes. So another post that I made on Twitter was about this. I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, it looks like bait. Because if you have so many planeswalkers, what's gonna, you're already winning basically. But then I kind of looked at it more. A couple people pointed out some things to me, and I was like, it does seem pretty good. So we got a lot of votes for Simic. Putin, Simic, the best in standard. Hillbilly, look at Rot Priest. Stokes had mentioned Simic earlier. Yeah, Hillbilly, did you see any Simic Poison? Did anybody build that yet? I'm sure they did. Somebody was running it. Look at Rot Priest. All right. Venerated Rot Priest. There it is, all its glory. It's rare too. It's not a mythic. Stokes, Stokes said the second ability of the gauntlet is really good, and that's the thing that I was missing. So I posted it on Twitter and I was like, I don't know if this is a good card. And then people were saying whenever you cast a non-creature spell, choose a counter on, put an additional counter. Yeah, that is pretty good. And for being only 3, control could definitely slot that in somewhere. Rod Priest. Oh, Hillbilly did see it a little bit. Yeah, Ivy. Gleeful Spell Thief. I felt so bad for Ivy because I remember looking at Ivy and going like, this card's pretty good, right? But then there was no support for it in Dominaria United. Proliferate plus Bankbuster to keep drawing cards. With Ickermoon Gauntlet, Zeus. Yeah, it seems pretty good. So Ickermoon Gauntlet, when you cast a non-creature spell, choose a... Yeah, put another counter on Bankbuster. Yeah, that seems good. Yeah, so Venerated Rot Priest and Ivy. So turn 1, Venerated Rot Priest. Turn 2, Ivy. Green and blue, 2/1 flyer. When a player casts a spell that targets only a single creature other than Ivy, you may copy that spell. The copy targets Ivy. So then your opponent plays a removal spell on Rot Priest. They get a poison counter from that. Then that spell is copied to Ivy. And then they get a poison counter from that. And then you can hexproof, Tamio's Safekeeping or something of that. Any one of those green hexproof spells, your Rot Priest, and that's copied to Ivy. Then all of a sudden they're at 5 poison counters. And then you win the game and you go eat a sandwich. Yeah, it seems pretty gross. What's the 3-drop for this Simic deck? What's the 3-drop here? Do we have anything good in... Can we sort this by mana cost and color? Mana value? Lands? What's the 3-drop? There's got to be one in here. Do. Anything coming to mind, you guys? We're in Simic, yes? Is it Bloated Contaminator? We have Rot Priest, Ivy, Contaminator, a 4/4 trample, toxic 1 when it deals combat damage, proliferate. Doesn't seem like the worst thing in the world. Stokes, the 3-drop is a card that lets you draw 2 for 1 mana once they have 3 poison counters. Is that the Jace one? I know what you're talking about. Distorted Curiosity, this one right here. That would be good. So Rot Priest turn 1, hits, turn 2 Ivy, spells cast, 3 poison counters made. Then you have a Curiosity for 1 blue mana, draw 2 cards. That seems pretty good. Yep, Bloated Contaminator seems pretty good. Lissa Sunslayer is a card that I'm super pumped about. Putin, there's your answer. That's the answer to one of your earlier questions. What card am I really pumped about? Sunslayer. The new Glissa seems great. But what is the play for this deck? I don't know. Maybe it is Bloated Contaminator. Just a big old beefy toxic. Or Tainted Observer is the limited uncommon. I'm not sure if that would. 2/3 flyer with toxic 1. Whenever the creature enters the battlefield, choose 2 to pay 2 if you do proliferate. I'm not sure if that goes into the Simic game plan. I think it actually might be just like Rot Priest, Ivy, another 2-drop like toxic thing, and then just slip out the back and blue spells to protect your stuff. That might be it. Might be something like a tempo deck that we've seen over the past year. Hillbilly, if Rot Priest is out on the battlefield, then your creatures can't get targeted due to Rot Priest ability. They can still be targeted, right, Hillbilly? They can be targeted, but they get poison counters every time they get targeted. I believe. Cliff M. Christ, what's going on? Everything looks good. I agree. Elden Mike, Sunslayer's a lot of variety, and the Death Touch First Strike combo is fantastic. I totally agree. With Glissa, my original thought on this was I was like, okay, it's a 3-drop 3/3 First Strike Death Touch, which is great. Three-drop things are really powerful when they come down and have an immediate effect on the board, and Glissa does not do that, admittedly. Does not have haste and doesn't do anything the turn that she comes down. But I think in her case, she's so ultra powerful that if she does get an attack in, that it's just gross. Storm Chaser Drake, Zeus. That's good. I want to come back to that. But yeah, Glissa, just the upside is just so crazy. Play this on turn 3, First Strike, Death Touch. You attack. When she deals combat damage, choose 1, draw a card, lose a life, destroy an enchantment, or remove up to 3 counters from target permanent. But you cannot remove poison counters from yourself with that because you're not a permanent. So that's a downside. But still, being able to kill planeswalkers whenever she deals combat damage to a player, if they have 3 loyalty or less, be able to remove counters from your own sagas to regain steps off of them. Remove +1/+1 counters from your opponent's stuff. And card draw in Golgari too. And they don't want to block it. I mean, this thing kills anything. So if they have a 10/10 on the field and it doesn't have First Strike, and it doesn't have Indestructible or anything, and they block Glissa, Glissa just deals 1 damage to it and just destroys it. Storm Chaser Drake would be a fantastic add to that deck, Zeus. I think that's a good plan. It's a good call. So we've got Storm Chaser Drake from Crimson Vow. 2 mana, 2/1 flying. When it becomes the target of a spell you control, draw a card. Yeah, that's great. So we go Rot Priest turn 1. Ivy, Gleeful Spell Thief, turn 2. We pass the turn. Hope they don't get blown up. And then turn 3 comes down. We play another island. Play a Storm Chaser Drake. Hold up a Slip Out the Back. Or a Tameo Safekeeping or something like that. They try to destroy something. You slip it out the back. Or you make it indestructible or hexproof. And then, Bob's your uncle. They're poisoned to death. Yeah, Zeus can drain Bankbuster too. You're right. Some good points this evening. Cliff, give Gliss a trample. Oh, for sure. That's like questing beast. And then you're gonna catch some people too with Gliss. Where am I at here? You're gonna catch some people with Glissa too if you give trample and people double block it and they're like, oh, I want to kill it. Mm-mm. Just one damage to each of those things kills them all. Yeah. Pretty gross. Oh, another card at uncommon that I really think is going to be pretty good. Tyvar's Stand, is it called? Yeah. This one right here. This can slide into that deck too. It's an instant. 1 green and X. So you don't have to pay the X, you can just play the 1 green. If you pay the 1 green, target permanent or creature gets hexproof and indestructible till end of turn. Or if you have extra mana, you can pay, 3, 4, 5 on this thing and make the unblocked creature that you have +3, +4, +5, or something like that. I think Tyvar's Stand goes in that deck too, and I think Tyvar's Stand, frankly, goes into most green aggressive decks. Like if we have a new Gruul aggressive deck or something, I think Stand is great. It's a good defensive card. Stops their removal. It's a good offensive card too. Wins you combats, does all kinds of stuff. Hillbilly, you think poison was pushed too hard? I think I probably agree with that. I think you're probably right on the money. I think it's going to dominate in at least 1 or 2 decks. Cliff, Glissa plus fights creature could be fun too, for sure. Hillbilly, you saw Tyvar played with Rot Priest. Tyvar's Stand. That doesn't surprise me. So we are in a parallel line of thinking here. Zeus, strictly better luxurious libation. Is that the one from New Capenna? By the way, if you're new here, thank you very much for subscribing. To do more spoiler content, I'm going to be doing gameplay videos for Phyrexia All Will Be One in Standard, and also some Brawl content, more spoilers and card ratings and general MTG content. So thank you very much for subscribing and hitting that thumbs up. I appreciate it. It is the lifeblood of the channel. It helps me continue to make content. So thank you very much. And thank you to all of you who already are subscribers for being here. Libation. This is an instant from New Capenna, +X, then create a soldier. Yeah. I think you're right. Putin, Gruul Oil, something I want to try too. Yeah, for sure. The what's the rare? He seems pretty decent. Can't remember his name. Miglaws? Maze Crusher? Is that it? Okay. 3-drop 4/4 Phyrexian Beast. Comes with 5 oil counters. I wish his stuff didn't cost so much mana. Remove an oil counter, gains vigilance and menace till end of turn, so that's good on the offensive, and making it a blocker. The 4/4 for 3, which is, at or above rate. 2 mana, remove 2, it gets +2/+2 till end of turn. If it's unblocked or something, or it's going up against something bigger than it, I can't imagine it would be on turn until like turn 5 or 6, but maybe. And then 3, remove 3 oil counters, destroy target artifact or enchantment. So you got like a expensive naturalize on it, which seems pretty cool. Fable the Mirror Breaker. Have this down, they play a Fable the Mirror Breaker, they get a 2/2 goblin, you start attacking with Miglaws, remove an oil counter, make it have vigilance and menace, and then just as they're getting ready to have their reflection, maybe you do the expensive naturalize 3 mana version of this and destroy the enchantment. That seems pretty good. Enchantment removal is pretty good right now. Putin or Gruul modified in general with all will be 1 enchantment. That would be pretty gross. Elden Mike, Urabrask's Forge. Let's get to that in just a second. Hillbilly, you're talking about... I know what you're talking about. It's a 4 mana 6/6 flyer. Urbrask's Forge. That's the one that makes the token, right? 1 red, 2 generic for an artifact. Beginning combat, put an oil counter on the forge and create an X1 red Phyrexian horror creature token with trample and haste, where X is the number of oil counters on the forge sacrificed at the beginning of the next end step. Let's see. So if you play this on turn 3, you go to combat, gets an oil counter, then you get a 1/1. And then turn 4, you get a 2/1. Turn 5, you get a 3/1 if you don't proliferate or put oil counters on it again. And then sacrifice. I think Urbrask Forge wants to be played in Rakdos Sacrifice, where every time it comes in, it gets to attack, and then when it dies, that's a good thing for you. I'm trying to remember what a good death trigger would be. But I think this card's probably pretty good. If you can attack with it each turn and then get some value when it dies, probably pretty good. Stokes, Archfiend of the Dross. Yeah, that's right. So Hillbilly, did you see that one played in early access? That one seems pretty good. Cooley. What do you think about the Twilight Cycle? Green seems weirdly underpowered. Not sure what decks would like to play it. See what that one is. Green Suns Twilight. The black one and the white one, I can tell you that I like a lot. Green Suns Twilight. 1 green X. Sorcery. Reveal top X plus 1 cards to your library. Choose a creature card and a land from among them, and or a land. Put those cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. X is 5 or more. Instead, put the chosen cards onto the battlefield or into your hand and the rest of the bottom of the library. Okay, so first of all, sorcery. I don't know why they made this one sorcery speed and the black one is instant, I believe. So what turn and what deck would want this? That's a good question. So you play this on like turn 5. You're looking at the top 6 cards of your library, getting a land and a creature, and then you get to put one on the battlefield, put a land and the creature onto the battlefield. It's a lot of mana. There's no guarantee that you don't whiff on this. It's not a lot of cards to look at, honestly, for the mana investment. When I'm talking about 6-7 mana, I want something that has a guaranteed effect to win the game. We're talking about Titan of Industry levels of things, and I would not feel good whiffing on this card. Not getting a creature, a big creature to put in. Now, would you ever play this on turn 3? Look at the top 4 cards, grab one into your hand and a land. Probably not. I don't think this card's very good. Cooley, yeah, I agree. I don't think it's very good. I think it's underpowered. The other Twilight Cycle I think are actually pretty good. The blue one seems pretty decent too. Lawless. I did not play in the early access. So that's the thing. I did not get invited to early access. I have been sending emails every time a new set comes out, and I have not had a response as of yet. I'm not. Obviously, I want to play in the early access, and I want to bring that content to subscribers to the channel. And I think it would be really, really fun and a good time to stream it and make content, but has not happened yet. But I will keep sending emails, and we will see. Eventually, maybe we'll annoy somebody enough that they'll be like, all right, fine. You can play early access. Zeus, it has to be Titan of Industry to be mana efficient. I agree. Yeah, I agree with Cooley. I don't think Green Sun's Twilight's very good. Duke, Theorycraft, Black, White, Toxic, Corrupted. For standard. Think about that for just a second. Lawless, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I hope it does happen. We'll just keep trying. Just persistence, you know. But I don't think there's any reason I'm not getting it. I think I'm just not on their radar. Or like there's tons of people that probably apply to that. So like eventually, feel free to tweet at them if you want me to. Send them a tweet, send them an email if you want to. No, I didn't spam them. Omnipotent. I did not spam them. I send like one. I think I sent like two emails for Brothers War, like 5 days apart, and send an email because I don't want to like spam their whole folder. But we will get there eventually. Yeah, I've been checking my spam folder too, Stokes. That's a good call. Don't have anything yet. Eventually, though. All right, so let's see. Duke. Theorycraft Black, White, Toxic, Corrupted. You know, my initial thought on Black, White, Toxic, Corrupted for Standard is I'm not sure that Corrupted is going to be viable as a archetype. I think if you're going Toxic, you probably just want to straight up streamline that process and get as many poison counters as possible to win the game that way. I don't know if there's that many corrupted cards that are good enough. A lot of the corrupted cards are commons and uncommons. So I think that's more of like a limited archetype. I think Black White Toxic could be viable, but I don't think it cares too much about corrupted. I could be wrong on that, Duke, but that's my initial thought. Hillbilly started sending emails for All Be One right after Brothers War came out. All right. Well, I'm going to follow in your footsteps, my man. And I'm going to send some emails for March of the Machine. Omnipotent. Wizards seem pretty big on limited, and you seem to know limited format. Maybe do some drafts or sealed and send that to them. Yeah, I could probably do that. That's a good observation. Omnipotent. Maybe I should beef up the limited content because maybe you never know, they might be looking for people who do limited content more than standard. Not sure. But yeah, we'll send some emails. We'll get it done. I really have been trying since, I don't know, Neon Dynasty? Maybe? Sending emails and stuff. Yeah, it'll be cool. Hillbilly, I'm glad that Hillbilly got in though. That's awesome, man. Putin, you got to head out. Glad you're able to catch some of the stream. Have a good night. Have a good night, Putin. Thanks for coming by, man. Good points. Good talking to you. Good theory crafting about Phyrexia will be one. And you guys, if you want to, I'm drawing a blank here. Putin also has a YouTube channel. You can check him out, as does MTG Hillbilly. So just search those in the YouTube and give them subscribe. Hillbilly, the craziest thing happened to me when I got it. They came to one of the live streams and told me to check my email. Wow. That's cool. So somebody was like checking out the live streams and like, check your email. That's cool. So you check it on your stream and then you got the notification. That's a cool moment. Elden Mike, I hope so. That'd be cool. That does seem like a good suggestion from the Omnipotent. Flawless. Croaky's picked Tyvar's #1 card in the set after playing it. Yeah, I have him pretty close. I think I ranked all the Planeswalkers in the set, and I think Tyvar was like #3 for me, and that was a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I was talking about Tyvar earlier a little bit with like Blood Tithe Harvester on turn 2. It's going to be insane. Tyvar's super good value for 3, and Croaky's obviously knows what's up. Yeah, I agree with Croaky's. I don't know if it's #1 card in the entire set. Uh, it's up there though. It's got to be up there. But yet at the same time, I haven't played with it yet. Croaky's has, so he probably has a little bit more information than I do. Hillbilly Legend was your first match. That's awesome. Tough game, I'm sure. Legend's great. Oh, Tyvar was an all star in Croaky's Jund deck. Yeah, I think Jund is where he lives. He's got to be not Croaky's, but Tyvar. Tyvar for sure goes in Jund. Just Blood Tithe Harvester, Synergy alone, and then going up from there. Have a good night, Clayton. Thanks for coming by. Have a good weekend. I'm gonna wrap it up here shortly too, you guys. I've had a long day. It was late at night, but I am glad that I was able to do this, and I thank you all for being here. And I learned some things too, so this is cool. I think this is a timely thing to do right before set release. There are more videos on the channel, and some of them are a couple weeks old now because I was doing them as they came out. But I think all the information I still stand by, and I don't think I've changed my opinion on any of those things. Hillbilly got whooped, but you enjoyed it. That's all that matters, man. I understand. I played CGB a couple. I think I played CGB like 3 times, 4 times, and I've lost every single time. So it happens. Man, oh man, farewell. Good talking to you, man, oh man. Been a while. Twitter DMs are open, man, oh man. So just so you know, future reference. Yeah, but I'm gonna wrap it up. You guys have anything else? I'm gonna close it up here in like 2 or 3 minutes. But to wrap it up, I think I'm gonna really enjoy this set because I think it's gonna be, besides rotation, I think this set's gonna have a really big impact. Stokes, you're heading out too. I had fun too. Thanks for coming by, man. Enjoy the new set, and I hope to talk to you again soon. Lawless, you're welcome. Thanks for coming by. Thanks, Elden Mike, and thanks for being a channel member again, my man. I appreciate it. Looking forward to the one. I'm looking forward to making it. Lawless, you are welcome. I will keep making the videos. Thank you. It's very kind. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support, everybody. Yeah. I think this set's gonna be great. There's gonna be some frustrating moments. There's gonna be some toxic stuff, but then there's gonna be some really awesome moments, like whenever I lose 7 games in a row, and then I finally get to cast my Tier X Rex and then smash somebody, and I'll be like, I told you this card was amazing. This card's great. That's what I'm gonna do. So, yep. All right. I'm going to cut it off there. Thank you all very much. And I will see you in a few days when we start Phyrexia. All will be one with toxic proliferate madness. All right. Have a good night and have a good day tomorrow and a good rest of your weekend.